it's very important for us to start asking for things in a way that we're not deciding for the universe how it has to come to us. So I'm going to give you all some examples of some affirmations that I wrote. So just pass these around. The first one I wrote was an affirmation about my sons. This last week, one of my sons, my younger son, he's 15, said he tried to call me one day to tell me he was spending the night somewhere, but I didn't get any calls. So he didn't come home. And I was very worried about it. I was very stressed out. And I was crying because I was thinking mostly about how he doesn't care enough to pick up the phone to keep me from worrying so much. And then I remembered what I teach. I remembered that this feels horrible in my body, so it's not true. It's not truth for me. It's not what I want to be thinking. It's not what I want to be focused on. I need to write an affirmation to replace the lie that I'm focusing on in my body. So I created this affirmation. Oh, and by the way, as you know how thoughts attract other thoughts. Well, the same thing works on a negative path. So then I started thinking about how my older son, who's in the National Guard, hadn't returned my last text, and I hadn't talked to him in a couple of months. And then that attracted the thought that I don't know what they're doing, they don't care about me. I was going down that whole road, and I felt horrible. So then I wrote this. The idea of letting go and letting the law of attraction take good care of my sons brings me a feeling of relief. And just with that one sentence, my whole energy shifted. I felt such a huge relief in being able to just think about the law of attraction will take care of them. The universe will take care of them. I love the idea of taking a vacation just for me while the universe takes care of it all. I love the feeling that my sons are in good hands. I love imagining them at their best. I love seeing them through the eyes of Source. I love remembering what good persons my sons are at heart. I love the idea that all will be well in the end. I love the idea that my sons love themselves and will take care of themselves. I love remembering how much they love me. So first of all of that is 100% true. Nothing has to happen for this to be true. Neither one of them has to call me for this to be true. Nothing has to change or happen for this to be true. It's all 100% true. Well, okay, so my 15-year-old son, he was also supposed to call me the night before and let me know that he was spending the night. So at this point, it had been 2.5 days since I had heard from him. And my older son, it had been a couple of months since I had heard from him. An hour after writing this, they both called.
Oh my word.
I had just completely shifted my own energy around it, and the universe works fast and it works miracles. The power of affirmation is so, so, so important. And I'll tell you another couple stories. I'm full of stories. Okay, so not too long ago, my mom takes foster kids. So she decided she was going to take a break from that for a while and explore something new. Well, she didn't make any money with that, exploring something new. And she got a month behind on her house payment. And so her bank told her to do a loan modification. And she was like, okay. And then they told her that if she got into the loan modification process, that would freeze her loan. And this is what one representative told her, that she wouldn't have to make her payments during that time because there wouldn't be any collection efforts. But that person didn't tell her that if she didn't qualify for the loan, that she'd be behind all those months and then they'd foreclose. So she did find that out somewhere down the line after she was like 3 or 4 months behind. And so she started to panic a little bit about that. And I think I probably went down that road a little bit with her, afraid for her to lose her house, mad at the people for telling her the wrong thing. And I was helping her with it because she's not really good with paperwork. So we ended up going on the downward spiral with this house loan thing because we got into that energy of fighting with the bank. And it took 9 months of fighting with the bank. And after 9 months of calling and talking to a different person every time who didn't know anything about the loan, so it was like starting from scratch every time for 9 months. Having them ask for the same papers that we had sent and sent and sent and sent, feeling complete and absolute frustration, like struggling, like fighting, like swimming upstream. I realized one day, this is not easy. I teach easy. I'm all about easy. This is not easy. Why is it not easy? I feel completely uneasy in my body, and I have felt for 9 months whenever it comes to dealing with this bank. And my mom was feeling completely uneasy in her body. So I realized all we have to do is shift that in my body. I have to start feeling ease in my body. So I created this affirmation for us. And it says, I want you to notice in here that it doesn't say anything about a loan. It doesn't say anything about a bank or a mortgage payment or losing the house or anything like that. So this is what I mean by writing your intentions in the affirmative and making it completely believable and making it have a feeling of ease. So the old me might have put in here in the affirmations, we're going to get this loan taken care of by next month. The people that we call at the bank are going to be really nice to us, and they're going to know what they're talking about, and it's all going to be sewn up, and then we won't be behind on our payments anymore. So that is just full of negative. It's full of the picture that gives me the unease. And so I wrote it from a completely opposite frame of mind. It says that being a happy homeowner is easy. Feeling secure in my home is easy. Feeling freedom in my home is easy. I love living here. I feel safe here. I feel proud here. I feel well-being here. I feel abundant here. Here I feel I let go and let God bring to me more of these feelings in whatever way the divine plan will bring me more in the fastest, easiest, and most fulfilling ways possible. I allow it to come to me in any possible way. I am open to it coming in ways I've thought of and open to it coming in ways I haven't thought of. I trust that the universe knows the plan that will bring me so much more fulfillment in my home than I could ever imagine for myself. I know that God will flow more of this into my life in unexpected ways. Therefore, I have no plan for how it will flow to me. I simply and gratefully accept it as it comes, and I circulate the appreciation, freedom, security, peace of mind, fulfillment, and other gifts back into the world, always making room for so much more that is constantly flowing in from the infinite river of abundance. And after I wrote it, I felt so good. I felt this feeling of relief. You've heard me talk about reaching for a feeling of relief. That's how you know that you have a good affirmation, is if you feel some relief when you write it. If it's something that's causing you stress, maybe you don't need to feel any relief. But if you feel good or you feel relief, you know that it's a good intention. That's really what it's all about, is how it feels when I say it. If you feel any resistance at all, you need to keep working on it. You need to keep rewriting it, because then you're creating the opposite. If you feel any doubt or disbelief. So after I wrote this, I felt immediate relief. I felt a feeling of ease in my body when I say it. And I took it up to my mom, and she read it, and she cried because she felt relief when she thought of it this way. She felt ease in her body. And the very next day, shift happened. The very next day, the fighting stopped. Someone called us from the bank instead of us hounding them and said, oh, we've turned it over to this new department. All we need is your address now and we can approve it. And then 2 days later, it was approved. It's amazing how you can shift things when you shift in here. So here's another example. You've heard me talking about getting my videos up online and my struggle with it. Well, I've actually been struggling with it longer than this class. I've been trying to figure it out for months. And everything I tried didn't work. And my pictures were fuzzy on this really nice camera that was supposed to upload it right to YouTube in the same right format that they want to have, and the files were huge, and YouTube wouldn't accept it, and I tried this company and that company and this website and that website and this host domain and that one, and I was so tired after a while. And then 2 days ago, I recognized the feeling. This feels exactly like when we were in the house loan modification. Okay, I know what I have to do. I have to shift my energy around it. I have to look for it in a different way. And also what made me think of it too was that divine timing is amazing. And I'm always saying, oh, the universe loves me, because it just delivers these things to me that I recognize. But I got this quote, and it said something about how your action has such little effect on the end result compared to your intention and your energy. And that if you'll just sit back and let the law of attraction organize it all, it'll all work itself out. Well, I knew that, but I forgot. I got caught up in the, I'll try this. No, that didn't work. I'll try this. No, that didn't work. I'll try this. Because I'm determined, you know. So I wrote this affirmation. Letting the law of attraction organize my websites and videos feels easy. Now, I could have said, I've learned a lot about being a video host and I'm really good at it, and my videos are done. But I know that I would have felt resistance to that because I've experienced the opposite of that lately, and I don't feel like I know what I'm doing with it. So remember how last week we talked about rating your intentions and rewriting them until they're believable? Rating them on a scale of 1 to 10, what you've written out, how believable is that? Do I really believe that I can have that? And if I don't, I have to keep rewriting it until I get it into a state that feels believable. So for me, it felt believable for me to say, like this next one, I love the thought of turning it all over to the universe, to streamline it into a simple, clean solution. Now, what's unbelievable about that? I love the thought. That's easy. It's really easy for me to have a thought and to love the thought. I don't even have to get attached to it getting done or how it's going to get done or getting done within a certain time. The next statement is, I feel such ease with the idea that the universe will create something far better than I could ever imagine for myself. I say that a lot in my intentions now. It's easy to love the idea that my websites and videos will be done beautifully when I come back to them. Now, I didn't even say my websites and videos are done and they're done beautifully. I said, it's easy to love the idea, because it is. It's easy to love the idea of it. That's completely 100% true and believable, and it gives me the same feeling that I would have if it was done when I think of it. I feel so good and so proud when I think of my online classes being done and done well. Again, I didn't say that they are done. because there's part of me that might not believe it. So I said it in a way that I could totally 100% believe it. I feel so good when I think of it being done. It's easy to feel peace and joy when I think of sitting back and watching my abundance flow in with its own perpetual motion of creating itself. Now there, I didn't say that my money was going to come from my websites or from my video. I'm letting the universe decide how my money's going to come to me. And easy is the last word that I used, easy. And after I wrote that and read it out, oh, I felt such relief. I felt so good. It was a completely different feeling than I had moments before when I had one more failed attempt to get my video up. The very same day, my husband went out and bought a new iPod Touch because he lost his other one, and he didn't know anything about this. And then he says to me, you know what? This shoots video. You might be able to shoot your videos with it, and I think you might upload them to YouTube too. And so I went and did a little test, and it uploaded right up to it. It was so much a clearer picture than my other thing. And I was like, oh my God, that's so easy. I can't believe it. After all that crap I just went through, the universe delivered a clean, simple solution to me. And it doesn't always happen that instantly, but you will notice things shift. It can happen fast. If you shift your energy in your body. So I want you to keep these, and I want you to look them over and practice writing your intentions until it's something that you can believe. So if, for instance, I said, I have that new house. Well, I don't have it, and so I feel resistance when I say that, and so I don't believe it. So then I might write something like, being a happy homeowner is easy. I feel really happy in my home. I love all the beautiful things in my home. And so I go down that road of just how great I feel when I imagine myself in a beautiful home, but I don't necessarily have to say I have the home, or how I got it, or when I'm going to get it, or definitely don't want to say anything negative. Like about that I'm going to live in such a better place than the place that I live in now, and talk about the things that I don't like about the place that I live in now. I'm going to talk only about what makes me feel really good when I talk about it. It's a 10 on the believability scale. It doesn't point to something else as my source of happiness. I don't want to say something like, I'm happy now because I have my new home. That's saying that I can't be happy until I have my new home. Instead, I'm focusing on things that I imagine that feel good in the home that I'm in, or in a home that I can imagine myself in. But I'm not using any terms that point to anything outside of myself as the source of my happiness. I'm creating in my intentions that I'm writing out, or my story that I'm writing out, this beautiful place that I love to think of. That's an easier way to look at it than to write out a goal for myself, or a to-do for myself, or a this is what I want, this is how I want to get it. It's easier for me to just create a beautiful place for myself to be in my mind, and talk about how much I love thinking about it. That's so much easier for my ego to believe than that I've manifested this great thing that I've been wanting to manifest for a long time, especially if it's something that you have had a lot of resistance with. This is a great exercise for you. You know, some of us have like all our resistances with money, or some of us all of it it's with our body, or some of us all of it it's with our relationship. So rather than saying, I have this thing, I have this thing, I have this thing, but yet when I read it back, I don't believe it, I'm going to talk about how beautiful it would be if I had it, and how. But I don't even have to use the word if. I didn't use that in any of this, but you know what I'm saying. I'm creating this world around myself as like a story, an imagination, an adventure, and I'm describing it in ways that make me feel really good. And I'm talking about how much I love thinking about it. That way I don't have to believe that it is or it isn't. I just love thinking about it, that's all. So the next thing is, so 1, it's a 10 on the believability scale. 2, it doesn't point to anything outside of myself as my source of happiness. If you notice these intentions that I wrote, do you know how often the word I is in there? I feel, I love, I. It's not about anything outside of me. 3, it doesn't mention anything that I am resistant to. So like for instance, the one that I wrote on the home loan, it didn't talk about a loan or a bank or money or payments or mortgage or those people on the other end of the phone that I was so frustrated with. It didn't talk about any of that. Now, it's okay to choose an intention that you're resistant to as long as you can figure out how to write it in a way and think of it in a way that you're not resistant to it. So that's what I mean about rewriting it until it's believable, until you don't have any resistance, okay? 4, it doesn't specify the way that the universe will bring it to me. It doesn't specify how or when it will come to me. I invite it to come in unexpected ways, as long as those unexpected ways match that field of vibration of feeling good that I've set around myself for what's allowed to enter into my world. 5, it's completely in the affirmative. There's nothing about what I don't want in there, and there's nothing, as we said, mentioned that I'm resistant to in any way. 6, it makes me feel as if I have it. 7, I feel really good when I say it and think it. If I don't feel amazing when I say it and think it, I need to keep rewriting it. That's probably the most important one. It's all about how you feel. And the last one is, it feels easy to say it. Easy is the key word there. It feels easy to say it. It feels really easy for me to say being a happy homeowner is easy. But if that doesn't feel easy for you, then don't say that. You have to say something else if you were trying to keep your home or whatever your issue is. So here's another example. You've heard me talk about how I used to have a lot of difficulty going on in my love relationship, in my marriage. So my intentions used to say things like, I want a man who listens to me more often. I want a man that cares about his health. I was starting to learn how to say things in the affirmative instead of I don't want a man who doesn't give a crap about his health, you know. That's where I was even way before that. But I was, at that time I was very resistant. It was very unbelievable to me that I could have it with the partner that I was with at the time. So, I learned how to change my affirmations to something more like, I love thinking of being deeply in love and completely fulfilled in my love relationship. Now that doesn't say anything about my husband or about another man that might come to me later. It doesn't say anything about how it'll come to me or when it'll come to me. But it's all about me and how I feel good when I think about if I was in love. Doesn't it feel good just to think of that? That's 100% believable to me, just to be able to think of it. It comes so naturally to me that it's easy to think of being in love, and I find myself imagining the beauty of it often. Now, for me, that statement works for me, and it's 100% believable to me, because something we're going to talk about tonight is choosing, of your affirmations that you wrote, choosing one that you obsess about the most. I obsess about being deeply in love constantly. I don't know why. I dream it every night. I dream about being in love. It's just something that naturally comes to me. And I am in love, but I want to be more in love. So I'm inviting the universe to bring me more feelings of being deeper in love in ways that I don't even know. So the next one is, the feeling of being deeply in love is the greatest feeling I can imagine. It fills me with such a sense of complete well-being, like I have everything I want, like I couldn't be happier, and like there's nothing that could happen to take my mind off of the love I feel. That's exactly how I felt when I was falling in love with my husband. I remember sitting there across from him, and we were just both staring into each other's eyes, tears, because we were so in love. So whether you're remembering a time like that or imagining a time like that in the future, it's not about the specifics of the man or the woman, if you're a man. It's not about how or when it will come to me, and it's not about that that person is the source of my happiness. If you listen to that statement, I'm the one creating that sense of well-being, because I'm imagining how good it feels to be in love. And when I can do that, I attract more of being in love, which my husband and I are very in love now. Not that we didn't love each other a couple years ago, but you wouldn't think we did, the way we were always screaming at each other. And I was leaving him then, but things shifted. The next statement is, when I think of being that in love, it's easy for me to feel complete contentment, complete fulfillment. When I feel deep love, everything feels easier. So I want you to start working on your intentions this week in this kind of way until you feel so good about it when you read it. Rewrite it 100 times if you have to, until you can say it in a way that you feel really good after you write it. Even if it's about you imagining something completely different than what's in your life. You deserve to feel that good, and if the only way you can feel that good about a certain subject is for you to imagine it, then spend lots of time imagining it, because it will serve you, it will help you, it will make things become easier in your life. Tell the story the way that you want it to be. You don't have to tell it the way that it is.
I have a question.
Yeah.
So we don't want, like, if we're looking for a man to show up in our life in a relationship, we don't have to put the color of hair or the eyes or anything like that.
Now that's you completely telling the universe how it's going to deliver to you your happiness.
Control.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, you can start off that way to get to the feeling.
Okay.
Like when I describe this perfect person to myself and I get to the feeling, because that's what I have to do, I have to see all the details to feel that feeling. You can start out that way, but you don't want to stick with those details.
Okay.
You want to burn them, throw them away, put them in a box, or rewrite them every day so that they're always changing, so that you've opened it up to the universe to deliver to you what will make you feel even happier than you feel when you imagine that particular man. And it may come to you from a new man. It may come to you from the man that you're with. unbelievable as
That
it
would be
seems.
unbelievable.
It may come to you from something. It may come to you from something that you never could have imagined. It's not even a man.
It could be a woman.
Yeah.
It could be a woman. It could be a dog.
Yes, I was thinking it could be
I
a
mean,
dog. I was just
it could
saying
be. Who knows what it could be?
that.
It could be yourself.
Yeah.
It could be learning how to love yourself so deeply that you don't feel like you need that man anymore, and then that's when the man comes.